Hi, my name's Ocean, I'm 47, and I've been on a self-healing journey for a lot of my life now. Probably at about the age of 15 or 16 I started exploring into why I am who I am, and I've made a lot of changes in that time. I haven't been happy with a lot of things that I've done, so I've just kept exploring and exploring. A big major breakthrough for me was about 15 or so years ago. I started the Holosync program. I did that for 8 years, and that really changed my life positively. I went through an emotional roller coaster, came out the other end, and I'm very, very happy with the results. And since then it's been a wonderful path of self-discovery for me. Recently I've been on the Ajna Light, and that's really changed life positively for me. Before the Ajna Light, I tried the Lucia Light. I had 4 sessions, and mind-blowing, just to open my world up to what I'm now experiencing on a regular basis was really amazing for me. The difference I find though between the Lucia Light and the Ajna Light is that, first of all, the Ajna Light, I'm lying down, so I don't have to worry about whether my head's going to tilt this way or that way or what position I'm in. I'm totally relaxed. And with the Ajna Light, I can set it to different frequencies and go on amazing journeys where actually I don't have any control of the journeys that I go on, but the more I'm doing the light, the more I'm able to have a little bit more, I don't know if control's the word, but I have a thought about what's over there, and suddenly I'm already there. And so I know that I can get myself to a destination through the Ajna Light. What it's done for me in my external world is totally changed me. I feel really confident in myself now. I'm very at peace. Nothing seems to faze me terribly. Of course I have my ups and downs just like everybody else does, but I'm not massively up and down. I just have this little wave regardless of what the situation is, positive or negative. I've got a lot of clarity in my life to be focused now, and we all have these to-do lists that kind of just keep going and keep going and keep going, and since I've been working on the Ajna Light, I'm actually ticking off what's on the list. And I have to say that this list has maybe been going for 10 years perhaps, and I'm down to about 4 things now on my list, and I actually looked at it this morning and was still, wow, this is amazing how many years it's taken me, because I've got dates on when I started things on my list. My ability just to move forward on my own path and stay focused is incredible. I was quite airy-fairy, and I'm very grounded now, and I've never actually felt that before. And my friends are telling me that too. Friends that have known me for a long time are viewing me over Skype and just like, wow, what's happened to you? You look really different, and I'm really calm, they tell me. I'm still really excitable. I still love to get my inner child out and play. But I feel that the positiveness that's come out of this has been amazing. The best thing that's come out of it after having many light sessions is that my mind chatter, it hasn't stopped, but I'd say it's only 20% of what it used to be. And when my mind chatter starts, I can actually taper it down. I've somehow developed that skill now to do that. I can switch it off actually. Before I just keep finding myself going back and watching and observing, and the mind chatter would still be there, but I don't have that anymore. I can calm myself down very easily and be peaceful when I want to be. I'm studying again, and my concentration is sharp like a knife. I'm able to take in a lot more information than what I feel that I could previously take in when I was studying. It's positively changed my life, and because my life has changed, it's changed people's lives around me, especially my family relationship, because I'm not the person that I was before that used to bait them to put fuel on the fire that they'd burn me back sort of thing. I don't have that anymore. So that's been my overall challenge for myself, actually, for all my life, was to be on not wonderful, but good terms with my family members, and it's beautiful what's happened there, and I feel that's actually only happened in the last 4.5 months, which is probably about how long I've been doing this, I would think. And so I've just had my 6th phone call with my father, and no abuse, no putting me down, nothing between us at all. I wasn't baiting him and he wasn't biting back. It's because I'm not that person anymore. I'm very comfortable in myself, and I don't need to play those games anymore. So if you're thinking about going on the Ajna Light, don't have any expectations that I want to go here and I want to do this. It's not like that. I had that at first, especially after going on a couple of journeys of wherever I went to, and it was all wow and magical and everything like that, and I tried to reenact them or to go back there a couple of times later or the next visit, and it wasn't there, and I didn't get that at first. But now I know it's just lying under the light without any pre-thoughts whatsoever. Just go under and focus on the breath and let whatever happens, because it's activating the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is contained of whatever's in us, and that might be from this generation or from our mothers or our grandmothers or our ancestors. We're all carrying traits from the past. So don't have any expectations. Just go in there and see what comes out. And some sessions I've had have been amazing journeys where I've had to really think about it later, about what happened, and see the changes happening. And some have been that I've thought nothing has happened, but it obviously has. Spiritually, it's taken me to places that I hear that monks who have meditated for 20 plus years go to. I've been to the place of nothingness, no sound, touch, feelings, smell, taste, thoughts, nothing. Beautiful journey. And then I've been to other places I've travelled out of the galaxies and things like that. And spiritually, I feel that I'm getting closer to wholesomeness and finding that peace within, and I love myself so much more now than I ever have before, and I really enjoy having my sessions, and I'm here today to have another session. So that was my first session of LST. Very interesting session, because I had intentions to connect with my twin sister, and the first time I left my body usually I leave my body from here when I've been doing the other sessions, but I didn't. My legs swung out beside me, and then I let the rest of me come out beside me, and my energy body was lying to the left side of me, and I was able to look at it and smile and get a smile back, which was a really nice flood of warmth going through my body. And then many times I kept doing that and leaving and staying close. I didn't go to faraway places, but a lot of times I didn't. I pivoted out with my legs, but my head stayed as the attachment to myself, and that really made me think about, is that my sister being codependent and not wanting to break away because she's so codependent with my father. And then twice I saw looking down at myself, and I could see my arms from about this point out, and I was actually holding the whole entire world in my hands, cupping it like that actually. And the planet wasn't blue actually, it was a green colour, which is love. And I noticed that while I was under the light. And then I saw a spiral, and it was really big, and it was like, as if it was on a piece of paper, but I knew I could get on it and slide down into it, but I chose not to slide on the top of it. I actually jumped through the centre of it and went down and felt the sensation of going down like I was on a toboggan on a sled, in the ice tube. And when I got to the bottom, I was looking inside my blood vessels in my body, my whole body, and I could see, I don't know, I was somewhere here in my body, but I could see down through to my feet and back up and through the other leg and back up again. It was like I could see the whole tube of my blood circulating around my body, and it was a really lovely feeling, because as soon as I thought ahead of I'm looking to my legs, the connection from where I was in my body to my legs became warm, and then as it flowed, as I thought more about what I was looking at, that flow kept going through, and this warmth came through my body, and it was nurturing. It was like a massage on the inside of me, a rush of liquid gold almost, that was going through me and really nurturing me. And on a physical part for me, I also felt like I was having a proper massage. And when I came out from under the light, I felt that. I felt really, and I was really sunk into the bed, and I feel like I've had a physical massage. And another thing that happened actually was I felt like I was on a boat floating on the water, and just a little wooden boat, and I was lying down on the boat, and I could feel the water and hear the sound of the water sloshing up against the boat. But suddenly, it must have been my energy body again was on the water. Physically I was in the boat, but my energy body was on the water. And as if I was the vessel, and the water was slushing up against me still, like I was in the boat. And I was able to recognise that because I looked over to see myself in the boat. And the sound and everything was quite interesting. It was like my body was the vessel. That was a really different experience from all the times I've been under the light. And it's not so strong now, but when I first came out also, and then I went and sat down with Alianne, my whole body was still flowing with that liquid gold. And it's there a little bit now, but of course I've come back into the shell and the mindset and the thinking and everything, but it's still flowing in me now. I can feel it. Great experience. And that time my body was pretty much sitting on top of my physical body, my energetic body, the whole time. And occasionally I'd slip back in, but it was almost for a second, because I didn't want to be there. I could feel myself sitting there on top of myself almost. Well, yeah, on top of myself. And the shapes were different this time. I saw this amazing flower shape that it wasn't a flower of life, it had many layers like a lotus, and it was like I could see the seed in the centre, and every time I focused on that seed I could see the vibration go out, and all the petals would kind of ruffle with it as if the wind was blowing the petals. And other times without live music I've had really set shapes, whereas this time it was really flowing, like a beautiful flower type, whereas before I was getting a lot of geometric shapes, sacred geometry shapes. But this time there was a river in there somewhere, and I merged into it, and I felt like I was 100 metres long at one stage, that I was this whole river, and I could feel it flowing through me. And there was a bird that came down and was, when it came to drink from the river, which was me, it just merged into me, and then I felt it leave and fly off again, but it was me as well. A really different experience this time. The live music was very interesting,
because it took me a little bit to settle into it. And then I just thought, don't even try, just let go. And I did. As soon as I did, my body was itching to get out and just sit there. So I didn't go off into different realms. I was just right here. It's very interesting. I think that for me, if I drink water straight away as soon as I've had a session, my energy, I'm buzzing at the moment, you know, because we're all water, so we're nearly all water. So I feel my energy, this really aids in drinking water straight after a session rather than waiting 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I'm buzzing right now, happily.
So it feels like it's much more organic when we're playing with you because we're tuning in, and so it's a flow together.
Yeah, and when the rattle was happening, and it was far away, and then it was close, I could feel that vibration through my body, and then when it went far away, I could feel myself reaching out with that vibration to catch it. That was really nice with the rain stick or the rattle, whatever it was. It's totally different to have music and then to have it. Yeah, like you said, it's really organic to have the instruments being played around, and it was really nice. I assume you were walking around me and the different instruments coming and how my vibration was changing with those different instruments. And did you have were you playing, what mouth instrument were you playing?
That's a Chinese one from Yunnan.
Wow.
It's tribal.
That really, it's like that almost levelled out the vibration I was trying to reach. And it was like it really helped me to reach this, not even trying to reach, but a vibration I was going to. And it helped me to stay on that vibration. That was an interesting instrument.
Yeah, it's made of a gourd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So before I went in, I was feeling really frazzled and unsettled and insecure as well. I didn't even feel like this was my own body. I was very disturbed. I had a good night's sleep, but there was a lot of stuff that was just rattling me, and I felt uneasy for the last few days. So my intention was to confront that fear. Why was I wearing that fear jacket again? So I laid down, closed my eyes and said I wanted to confront that fear and deal with it or release it. And so I remember seeing the colours really brightly when I first went in, and bright lolly pink, which is unusual for me, but then I look at my t-shirt, so that might be why that came up. And I saw the colours and very definitive shapes as well. And then I saw my third eye right there, right in front of me. And it was little, and it was like I was coming towards it, and it was getting bigger. And like my whole physical body, everything went into it. And then I was in this super peaceful space for all that time. And it felt like nothing was happening at all. And I was gone for all that time, and I think it was only 5 minutes before the light finished that I came back in, and I felt myself come back into my body through here, this side somewhere, and my body did this big twitch, and I lay there and thought, where have I been? The light was still flashing. Where have I been? And then I felt my body again, and just by lying there and thought, oh, I feel like me again, and peaceful, and I remember smiling, and then the light stopped. And so now I feel myself again, how I usually am, high and positive and functioning, and I'm not wearing that fear jacket at all.
And how long was the journey altogether?
So 1 hour. So that was 1 hour, and I set the frequency myself. 20 minutes. Well, I shouldn't say 20 minutes because I don't know the length of the time. Yeah, it was 20 minutes on each one. I did three stage. So the first stage was theta, and then second stage was delta, and the third stage was the creative. I can't remember what one that one is at the moment. The creative one, and
wow, I must have been gone for most of that, because it felt like literally I zipped into it pretty quickly, and then just a few minutes, 5 minutes maximum at the end, that I was knowing I was under the light again. So I must have been gone all that time in that peaceful zone. Nice journey, unlike any other I've had. So that was an hour session along as well today. This time I did 20 minutes on theta, 20 minutes on delta, and 20 minutes on beta, I think it was. Really different session. Same, because as soon as I went under the light, I was gone. I remember hearing the first song change to the second song, and that was it, so 3 minutes something. I don't know where I was and what happened. It was that beautiful, peaceful space of nothingness again. But when I came back into my body, my left leg jolted me so much that it really, my whole body reacted to it. And as soon as that happened, I was aware that, and I remember saying I'm in my body. And then here somewhere, even maybe just an arm's distance, a triangle appeared, and I could see it was laying flat, and the outside of it and the inside of it were lit up with this fluorescent indigo blue, but the triangle itself was black, and it stood up like this to me as the temple did a couple of the healing before. And I thought inside it was dark. It wasn't black, but it was dark. And I thought, there's a triangle, and as soon as I had the thought, it was gone. And so I just, was under the light again, and then it reappeared, and I saw it, and it stayed there for a minute, and I didn't have a thought about it or anything. I just acknowledged that it was there, and then I don't remember it disappearing, but it was gone. And then just a couple of minutes, and the light went off again. So again, I'm gone for that real lengthy period of out of 60 minutes. Again, I think 50 minutes I was in nothing land. But this time when I finished, my intention for this one was to confront my fears. That's huge, and I thought, well, I might as well just go for it. So when I've come out this time, I've actually felt a bit low in energy, which is for me an indication of all the stuff I was doing wherever I was. So I feel much better now. I've got some charged water, and I've been in front of Kuan Yin and talking, so I feel much better now. Big difference. I feel a lot more grounded. So I saw this woman sitting like this with her hands over this chair, the arms of the chair. She had a piece around her, like an Egyptian woman, she had a piece around her neck with bits that came down like this, and they were longer in the centre. She was fully gold. I didn't feel she was a statue, I felt she was a woman. And she had a headpiece on that had like a cobra here, pointing, looking down on the top of her, quite high. There was a couple of lions. Oh, and she had a skirt on. She was topless. She had a skirt on that was quite rigid. It didn't fall on her body. It fell outwards from her body. And there was a couple of lions that were fully gold beside her, almost as if, when I think about it, there was no arms on the side of her chair. It was as if she had her hands on the lions' heads, maybe. And she was way out there, and she was this gold, and I saw her and was like, wow. And I knew I went instantly to her, but I also felt that the time between me and her, of this, and all this stuff was, I was just passing through all these clouds to get to her, and I got right up to her, and then she was gone. And then there was this pink, which is a really baby pink, ball behind her that was doing this, and when I went to enter into it, I was suddenly, I don't know what position I was before, but I was suddenly on my back, and I slid in, and I had this pivot on my back, and I was doing that around this way and then around that way, like the ball was. I wasn't doing complete circle, I was just pivoting like this. I don't know where that took me to. Another part of it though, I saw really different shapes today. I saw like That's that coral called? Like the fan coral, but it's not a fan spread this way, it's all like this. Like when you're flying in an aeroplane and you're looking down over a river and you can see all the different bits of it coming off. I saw lots of that, and it was like I was looking at it and I'd see it and then it would change colour, and there was so much purple today in my colour. So I kept seeing this really like a brown colour with gold around it, and then I would see purple with a darker purple around it, and I kept thinking of the coral. It's exactly what it looked like to me. I saw my third eye again looking at me and almost scanning me. It really tilted down and was looking at my whole body, and then tilted up again and connected with me. I did a lot of twitching in this one, I know that, which I hadn't done before. I hadn't experienced so much, because I knew I was twitching and I felt it, but I was still able to be in wherever I was in the space. And at one stage my arm threw right out, and I felt like I opened my eyes, but I checked in with myself and they were actually closed. But I could see my arm and I could see myself bringing it back and putting it back down beside me again. That was really something new as well. I feel really good now. I feel very centred and me again, from being quite on edge before I went under. And also there was a lot of, in my chest, there was a lot of, I felt like my heart was pacing quite a lot during this session. I haven't experienced that before either. I've always been rather calm, and I felt like I was really, although there was no fear or rushing or anything like that in wherever I was, but I really felt like my heart was, the pace of my heart was faster. But now I feel calm, and you can see I'm all excited again. Within a couple of minutes, actually it was like the bottom half of a tunnel appeared, and I actually pictured it to be somebody like in a theme park, a ride that you go in and the tongue's there, and I think I made that assumption myself, but then the whole tunnel appeared and it was in the distance, and I thought I'm going in there, and I felt like I did this and ran and jumped in and slid down toboggan on face down in this tunnel. And as soon as I entered it, I wasn't aware anymore that I was in a tunnel. I went into this very calm space. But lots of stuff was happening with the light. Lots and lots of stuff, lots of shapes, lots of triangle, really, really defined triangle shapes. And they went out and out and out and out like infinity, these ones. There wasn't an edge to them actually, now I think about that. And when I went in, I really feel like there was two of me, because I could see all these corals floating like the currents that come past in the water, and the colours were amazing, and I could see that yellow one that I saw the other day with the and browns and beautiful colours, but they were all quite soft today. They weren't vibrant colours like my last session. But why that was happening, the solid geometry shapes were there, but as soon as they disappeared, the coral was underneath. And even if it was for that second in between that flash coming back, I could see the coral, and it was like the whole scene was, I don't know whether it was like a bubble or I'm not sure, but the whole scene was moving, very calming, really, really calming. I'm surprised at how busy it was and yet how calm I feel. And I had a few twitches. I know I had a few twitches there, especially something in this finger here. I kept doing that. Well, not kept, but 5 or 6 times I did that. And yeah, I really feel like, I don't know how, of course, but there was two of me, like I left my body and then I left that body again, and I was having two different experiences at the same time. One that was really keeping with the light, and one that was just this flowing undercurrent of peace. And that's the first time that the light stopped. And I was aware that it had stopped, but I was still in that space of that calmness. And it was actually only when I heard the sound of your computer that went titting that I came back in, and my foot twitched, that I was in my body again. But I really didn't want to come out of that today. That was super, super calm, and I can feel my energy flowing through me, and I feel vibrant and alive, but I feel really calm and clear and focused. And actually I feel like I've had a really good sleep thinking about that. And whether that was a death tunnel or not, I don't know, because of the peacefulness of it, but it was very, very peaceful. I want to go to that space again, for sure. I was on the same settings as last time, and as soon as I went in, I saw these love hearts floating around, and they were all different. They weren't, some were hollow and some were filled and some were swirly and some were plain, and I thought, oh, love hearts, and just accepted it. And as soon as I did, I said, okay, Ocean, breathe, get your breath right. And as soon as I did, I saw this vortex over here, and then I saw this light coming out from it, and I thought, I'm going in there. And as soon as I did, I went straight through it, just like that. And I was out. I was totally out. And somewhere in there, I saw on this part of me here 3 dots. And at one stage, I thought, what are they? And then I looked closer, and another one appeared, and I saw the Gemini constellation, and I'm a Gemini. So that, I found that to be interesting. And last night I was talking about that, so whether my mind had pulled that back up again. And then I saw over here, like half a ball, and it was alive. It was just this purple electric light, and it remained in its shape, like a half moon shape. And I thought, I want to go and look at that. And when I went into it, it was like I stepped into this area of this purple magic that was, oh wow, it was beautiful. I remember just looking at myself and feeling my skin come alive with this energy of this sphere, half sphere. And I was supposed to finish at 10:30 with the light, and at 5 minutes to 11, 25 minutes later, I came back into my body, and I came back when I saw my whole entire face looking at me, and it would have been my right eye, but my right eye was blinking, but my left eye wasn't. It was doing that, but my left eye stayed closed. And I came back in. So I was out 25 minutes longer, still having all this experience, for sure having this experience, after the light had finished. Really. I had wings and I was flying. Big wings. It was like really big wings, and it was like I was flying back in time, seeing different races of people doing different things. So there was people in one village there was thatched roofs around, and I went down and looked at them, and they were making pottery bowls to eat with and for carrying water. And I looked at this one man, and his hair was all really jagged, like they just got a knife and cut it like that, and his teeth were all crooked and kind of caveman style, but they were more forward than that. And then I saw a mummy, a man that had been, frozen in time, and he was like this, and all his skin was on his skeleton, and he had a little bit of hair of him around him, and he was laying on this altar, still like this, and I could see his teeth, and there was a llama here, like an animal llama here, but it had 2 heads, 2 necks on it, and one was white and one was brown. And then here there was I don't know what it was another animal, I don't know really what it was, but there was an owl on someone's arm. I didn't quite get the person, but there was an owl sitting. It was like there was a ceremony happening around this mummified body that was on the altar. And I visited that twice, and actually what happened was I went there, and then I came back in my body, and I must have decided to go back there again, and I was there again. And because I came back in my body with this jolt on my left foot and thought, okay, I'm here. But then I was there again, and I don't know what was holding the body, because it was so rolled up that it should have fallen this way or rolled over that way, but it was sitting very nicely on the altar. And there was like American Indian drum sounds and a way, something like that happening. And I'm trying to fathom it in my conscious state. And then I felt my wings again, and I was flying, and I was really, really high, and it was like I went to this place in the sky, and not like it was on a cloud, but it wasn't on a planet or Earth, it was just this place in thin air. And there was people just in thin air, and they were tall, and they had long hair, wildly kept, but long hair, men and women, and they all had this same bead necklace around their neck, wooden chunky beads, quite nicely done. The craftsmanship on them, quite nicely done. And then I must have come back into my body after that. So I hadn't done that before. Left and then come back, and then left and gone back to a place where I was. There was a lot of stillness, but while there was stillness, there was like clouds that move on a windy day. It was like that happening around me the whole time, but I felt this real peacefulness, and I felt my body like it was nothingness, so it must have been joined with the surroundings. I was really conscious at one stage of like this was a shell, but there was nothing there, and yet I was able to fly with it and be light to fly. I can't make head or tail of this one, in a sense. It doesn't matter though. I went on an adventurous journey, and it's great. Nice journey. As soon as I went under, I went into this crystal forest of quartz crystals, and they were like this. And I was standing here and looking at it, and it was just totally endless, and there was massive, giant Superman crystals up there. And I was here, but I saw myself over there, and I was rubbing my hands on this crystal, and as I rubbed it, this rainbow was appearing, and then it was fading as it was following me. And I thought, wow, and I did it again, and the rainbow appeared, and I did it quite a lot. And then I was, there was a Fibonacci spiral, and it was this way. It was like the Nautilus shell way. And I decided I was going to go to that Fibonacci spiral. And as I went to it, I was right on the edge of it. And as I did, I saw these glow lights light up to show me the way to go into this spiral. So I did. And I did this woo, like a slide, and it got bigger and bigger, and I got spat out the end, and I came up like this, and I was overlooking all these massive, massive crystals again that were endless, but again they were quartz, but this time they were like a not a clear quartz, but there was rainbows, just hundreds of rainbows everywhere. And I kept seeing this shape. It was a diamond shape, and no, it wasn't. It was a square, but it was elongated. And as I was seeing it, I was able to look through it and see different dimensions of it. And then I went into it. Quite a few times in this session that happened, and I was able to go in. And one time I went in, it was blue. Another time I went in, it was turquoise. There was a gold one. I just kept jumping through these and or sliding into these. I saw this city that was over here somewhere, and it was just, the aura of it was magnificent, like a bubble with all these rays coming out of it, just shining how a child would draw a sun, just all the rays coming out. And the feeling of this session was like I'd been switched on, and there was this constant energy flowing through me, and absolute magic, absolutely alive, and I could feel it going through every cell of my body, and then it was going into the earth and up to the skies, and then into this crystal forest, and then back into me again. I saw that, whatever that one's called, I can't remember. I saw that, but I was in the centre of it, so I was connecting from the crystals down to the earth and through me, and wow, I'm so... I can feel myself, but I feel I'm really floating, and I felt myself rising up and up and up and up, and there was so much gold in my vision, and the kaleidoscope of colours and shapes are very different to what I've been seeing. I saw a flower of life. It was a little blue one way in the distance there, and then I decided that I wanted to see it, and then it was right here, and suddenly it was giant. It was so giant that I was actually looking into one of the petals of the flower, but at the same time I could see the whole thing and see myself in the scope of this flower, and I was this big compared to this, although I was in it at the same time. And like the crystal forest, I was this big when I was looking at myself way there, but I was here looking. And I saw, it wasn't a Buddha at all, it was could have been even a person, an angelic person with wings. Not really sure about that. No, they didn't really have legs even. There was wings there, but there was no legs on this person or whoever it was. And they flew off, and they looked back like, "Are you coming?" And I just lifted off and went with them. But I wasn't flying, I was just floating in my body, and I had this connected vibration with this being that we were talking without words and without looking. We were just, maybe we were one, and we were thinking the thoughts and bouncing them off each other. And again I went back to this crystal place, and I landed in this place where not really a circle, very jagged circle, smooth but jagged. And I landed on it, and when I landed on the ground, which I saw was solid when I was coming down to it, but when I landed onto it, it was this it was water that was crystal clear, and I was looking at it. So my feet were touching the bottom, they must have been touching the bottom, and I was looking at it, and I was standing on all these crystals. And you know how before when I was doing this with the rainbow, when I touched my feet, the rainbow was appearing. Wow! Like, I can see a squid now, because I've seen a squid when it's alive and all its things that it does, and it was just like that. Just I could do this in the water, and all the rainbow lights would come up. There's probably more, but that's about what I can remember at the moment. And yeah, I can feel electric passing through me. Still that same effect from the crystals to the earth, and I'm in between here. Amazing journey. I'm really buzzing.
Could you tell me what the settings were? Just describe.
I can, if let me get my phone for 1 second and tell you, or Katie can. So the first one was theta, how I usually go onto it. Thanks. And then the second setting, here we go right now, 3-stage. Let's go back to 1. The first one was theta, 80%. The second one went to beta, 39%, and then lambda, 59%. So I've never been on the lambda one before. And the third one is gamma, 86%, and I've put some theta in there, 34%. Totally different recipe for what I've done before, and it was everything. It was the visions, the out of body, the holograms, the Fibonacci spiral, the sacred geometry. Oh, there was a tetrahedron in there as well. Everything was magnified and giant and radiant, and so much more than I've experienced before.
Today's session I did a 5-course menu, as I'm calling it. Usually I've been doing three stages, but today was 5. And so I did myself in theta to start off with, and then I thought I'm going straight into lambda, so I went into lambda for three lots today, and then I came out with lambda and beta combination. So when I went in, I got down and got relaxed and that, and then I felt myself slip out through this hand. I felt myself exiting my body through my right hand. Off I went. I was out for a while, I don't know where I was doing my own thing. But at one stage I saw this massive bright blue stone shaped like a child would draw a diamond. And it was just sort of right there in front of me. And next thing I saw my third eye coming out of it, looking at myself. And every time I blinked in my material body, the eye blinked at me on coming out of this stone. And in my brain I said, okay, well that's my eye doing sync with what I'm doing. And then it disappeared, but my third eye stayed there. My eyelashes were really, really long. And then I saw my face appear at myself from the side, and I was giving myself this smile. And when I saw that it was me smiling, I felt my whole entire body just lift. I mean, I was out already, but I felt this body still just lift with this energy, as if I was hovering on the bed on this body as well. So I don't know if again I went out for the second time, but later on I was definitely 2 bodies floating around. So I saw that, and then I saw this, today I saw a square, which I hadn't seen before, and it was a real square. It wasn't a diamond, it was definitely a square. And there was all these layers around it of pixels, and it was bright yellow, and underneath there was these green rays coming out everywhere. And the other colour of the pixel was it was brown, but then it became an orange colour. It was like evolving right in front of my eyes, whereas it wasn't a flash like I see before of colour. It was this evolution that was happening, which is again something totally new for me to experience today. And then I saw the Sri Yantra, and I launched myself into this and through the other side, and I turned around and looked, and there it was. And I thought, I want to try that again, and so I launched back, and then I launched again through it. And I kept going the second time I went through it. I came to a place, big void of wherever I was, and then I came to a place where there was these, it was like that same blue rock I'd seen earlier. It was massive spikes of crystals and coming from one source and pointing out in all these directions. And I went to touch it. I thought, I'm going to go touch that. But then I saw myself touching it already, which is like out again. And which was the last time I saw myself looking at all those crystals over there. I was here, but I was there at the same time. So the same situation happened today. And I thought, I wonder what would happen if I went to myself over there. So I went to myself over here. And it was like I amalgamated with myself and this crystal. And I was in this crystal, and I was putting my hand outside of the energy of this crystal and seeing that, so it was blue, and I could see that I was blue, this iridescent blue. And when I put my hand outside, it was daylight or whatever light it was. So I really became part of this crystal. And I was thinking, and I was looking for my second body. Where was it? Because I saw it earlier, but I'd amalgamated into it again. So then that all dissipated. My third eye came back, and it was still at this same distance, like 30 centimetres, 40 centimetres away from my head. And it kept looking at me and blinking and looking at me and blinking. And then I looked through it, and I saw myself again in the background. And I was hovering over not grass, but I don't know what it was. It was something natural. It wasn't a rock. It wasn't man-made or anything. But I was just hovering over the top of it, and then that one out there looked at this one, me, and smiled at me again. I saw the box came back again, and this time the box was a definite orange and red. So it had gone from yellow and orange to orange and red, and it did like a periscope where you go further and further and smaller. And I thought, I'm going in there, and I did. I went in. And I almost felt like the tightness of it when I had to get through the end. I was like squeezing myself together to fit through, but I didn't need to do that. But that's what I remember doing. And I came out the other side, and there was this massive amount of space there, and I felt like I was like a little ladybird in this big whole universe, for how much space there was. But at the same time, I could see things, and I could see there was more crystals over here, just sort of at this level around here somewhere, but further in the distance. That square that I went through was over this side, and I could see that there was another object. I can't think of what it was at the moment, straight ahead of me. And the amount of space that was there allowed me to really float and test myself about my control of getting up and my control of getting down again. So I played with that for quite some time, and then I was gone wherever I was, wherever that peaceful space was. It was beautiful. But I have to say, the whole time of this session, I really felt electricity running through, energy through my body, and my thought was connect myself to the earth. And even when I was up above, wherever I was, I knew I was still connecting that energy through the earth to do whatever it needed to do. But at one stage I did have a thought about, let this energy go through the earth and be healed and come back up again and heal people that need it, and shower them with love. So that was whichever body I was in, thought back to bit of consciousness or something, I'm not sure. At the end of that, I felt like I was putting myself as I would a shirt, slip my arm in and pull it up, and that was me coming back into my body again.
something new. That was very different. I haven't done that one before, and it was 2 seconds before the light went off. It's like my body, my subconscious knew that light's going off, and that was it. I was back in my body again. Interesting journey.